Here and Now, the program featuring the news and interests of the African American community. Here's your host, Sandra Bookman.
Coming up, building affordable housing and better lives for families in New Jersey will introduce you to the successful Black female developer whose story began in war-torn Liberia. Also ahead, how the Doe Fund's Ready, Willing, and Able program continues its legacy of connecting the homeless to jobs and permanent housing. Actor Malik Yoba on his Flipping the Hood initiative with a focus on education and real estate. Actress Erica Woods on her breakout role in the hit series Power Book 3, Raising Canaan. And a sneak peek at the coming attractions at the New York African Film Festival. That's all ahead on Here and Now. He's appeared in more than 50 films, Cool Runnings and Why Did I Get Married among them. And who doesn't remember his star turn in the hit TV series New York Undercover? But offstage, Malik Yoba has been equally busy as a social entrepreneur in his community. His Yoba development is the embodiment of doing well while doing good, with a focus on youth, education, and real estate. Joining us today, actor, producer, CEO, New York's own Malik Yoba, and his daughter, president of the Yoba Development Foundation, Dena Yoba. Thank you both for joining us this afternoon.
Good to see you again.
Thank you.
It is wonderful to see him in father mode.
He always is in father mode.
He's always in daddy mode, huh? So, you know, I think that most people, when they see you, they go, oh, that's that actor. Yeah, I know him. But you're about so much more. You have a real commitment to the community. You're entrepreneurial. Talk to me about, is that something that's always been part of your life, or?
Yeah, absolutely. So if we can get it, we can get a close up of this tattoo because it's a little distorted now. But this says build your own generator, so when they turn off the power, you still have lights. So you mentioned fatherhood. My father would preach that to us as a kid. I had a paper out from 8 years old to 16 in Harlem. Some people might remember my restaurant, Soul Cafe. I was a partner in that for 9 years. I've had a marketing company, a theater company. I've obviously been in real estate development. I'm partners in a tech company. So I've always been entrepreneurial, and I've always been really focused on young people and personal development and education. And so, yeah, it's just always been baked in, and I feel fortunate that I was shooting a show called God Friended Me a few years ago, where I was playing a real estate developer. At that point in 2018, I was probably 10 years into my journey learning about development, and I, was inspired while being on set to bring real estate, filmmaking, working with young people together. And that was the early days of Yoba Development, which I founded in 2017 but didn't do anything with it. And so being in father mode with my daughter, which we didn't start the foundation until, what year was that?
2022, November.
The first thing I had to do was do the paperwork for the 501c3. But I wanted her, and other people's kids too, not just mine, but we got to bring young people into the mix so they know what the hell is going on.
So they're part of growing their community, and we each one teach one, and you got to reach back and bring
Lift
other
as
people
you
up.
climb. Yeah, that's got to be a part of it.
So you modeled that behavior.
Yeah, at her age, I was the vice president of City Kids Foundation, which was just south of where we are here, and I guess we don't know if this is Soho or the West Village, this area where the new ABC Studios is, but yeah, it's always been important to me to make sure that we put young people in the mix, because I was that kid. I was that kid at 17, 19, where people put me in position, so yeah.
So Dena, the foundation, what's the focus of the foundation?
Yeah, the focus of the foundation is going to be community and personal development through education and real estate. As the Yoba Development LLC stands on education, real estate, and media, mixing young people together with that, we also funnel that purpose through that as well. And so I've had to talk about it a lot recently, and every single time I hear myself talk about it, it's a little bit different every time. But I do make sure to bring up the community and personal development piece, because that is the most important thing. Builders of people, places, and things is our slogan through and through for the LLC and the foundation. And so Yeah, we run programming through schools. We work with young kids from middle schools, high schools, college students. I'm 24, so early 20s as well. And I feel pretty aligned to be put in this position to help work with young people and bring forth our mission of personal and community development through the real estate.
And I get the sense that listening to your dad talk that he was talking about all this when you were 6,
Little.
7, 8,
Whole
9,
life.
10.
Life, yeah.
Whole life.
Yeah, definitely. In the last 6 years since I've lived in New York, I grew up in LA. I was born there and spent a lot of time bi-coastal, so a large part of me does attribute New York to my adulthood and just how I am right now and the person and young woman that I am right now. But we've gotten really close working together. He's really one of my best friends, and I feel very lucky and fortunate to say that about my dad. But yeah, the work that we do together, I've been hearing about it my whole life, especially City Kids. He's talked about that. I can't even count. I know all about City Kids Foundation.
But it's not just talk, because he was walking the walk.
Yeah, absolutely.
I guess that's why today you have a real belief in the work that you guys are doing.
Yeah, absolutely. It does bring a lot of joy, honestly.
And is it difficult? Look, I don't have children, so I'll say that right up front. But you hear a lot of talk about, what is the generation as? Is Zen, X, Z, what is it? I don't know. But do you have a difficult time sometimes selling the idea to other young people, sort of expressing why this kind of development is important and what's at stake? Because it is kind of a foundation in a way for young lives that you are trying to help them build.
I think no. I feel like Gen Z, because being 24, I'm technically a part of Gen Z. Even though mentally, I will admit, I do tend to feel much older. But I will say that there should be more credit given to my generation, because we do care about ourselves more than it is portrayed. We just work within the circumstances that were presented to us. So there's a lot of anxiety, there's a lot of depression, there's a lot of kids and young people my age and a little bit older and younger that maybe feel lost or don't have a lot of direction, and so these conversations can feel like, what are we talking about? I don't know if I can be a part of that life. I don't know if I want to do real estate development. There's gentrification happening. There's no room for me there. But the way that we market it or just talk about it is by creating the community. So when people feel seen and they feel like, okay, great, sure, there's a place for me there, especially through my experience, right? Being as young as I am and being a part of all this stuff, at first I had to find where I fit in it. Like he said, he had me do the paperwork. I was like, why do you have me doing this? Getting 501c3 is not easy. Dealing with the IRS is not easy. Starting a foundation is not easy. And I was alone in a lot of parts of that. And not alone in the sense I didn't have help, but there was a lot of brain power being put to it. Sure, just try it. So kind of learning how to swim while you're swimming.
Yeah.
And so my experience was very much starting from the bottom and going up. And I'm still going up and I'm still learning and developing. So I think because of that, when I do talk about my experience with other people and we are talking about the work that we do, it's palatable. People receive it because I'm not just selling them a dream.
Yeah.
And all the work we do, there's a large follow-through aspect to it as well. So it's not just let's just show you what we're doing, the activation that we have coming up, which we will be talking about. It's not just okay, yeah, pull up, we'll show you what people are doing that maybe you want to be in that position one day. It's there's a lot of follow-through. It's we see it past just the day that people get activated.
It's achievable.
I like to see that.
Yeah.
But that was the whole point,
you
right?
Taught her well.
So, it's learning by doing, right? So you have to put young people in position. Like I said, I was that young person. We'll talk about Lori Meadoff, who's the founder of City Kids Foundation, who met me as a 19-year-old and saw something in me and said, kid, I'm going to hire you. By 20, I was working in 13 high schools with City Kids Foundation, helping to use art to reduce the dropout rate. And a lot of the young people that were part of City Kids and now Dule Hill and Lauren Hill came through there, and Lisa LaPera, who's on Equalizer, and Dash Myhawk, who was on Ray Donovan. The list goes on and on. But young people are also exposed to so much of the world, and they can see pathway, or at least they have a window into a possibility. So we launched the I Build New York program at the high school level at the Brooklyn STEAM Center. That's a school of 320-something kids, and 10% of the school population signed up for the learning about real estate development. They didn't know anything about it, and so they just know that, hey, I heard, I can make money here. I can do better than my parents.
Yeah.
I missed the last internship. What is that about? So that I think there's a lot of information out there that young people can see and go, wait, that's interesting, so teach me more about that. But from a community standpoint, it's high schools, colleges, and community, which is our age and younger, and it's about that mashup, right? For a lot of us, we don't have the opportunity to sit at the kitchen table to talk about their father's deals that they're making or how the family office is investing, right? So as a community, we have to be more thoughtful about, it's cool if I'm successful individually, but what about you? Like, how do I not care about you? And, you know, for a lot of people, that's not what they think about. But for me, I was given a seat at the table, particularly on the development side as well. And it's a fascinating world. And I think, you know, it is marketing, it is finance, it's art, it's you know, it's engineering, it's science, it's all of these things, right?
Find your, if you know about
anything
it and
you do, you can find a pathway. Whether you like making films, you want to tell stories, you like fashion, you like design, you like math, you like whatever it is. There's a space in this built. Everything in here is part of the mix of what it means to develop communities.
Yeah, and it's important to expose young people to that, because sometimes that's the only way that they will be exposed to it. I want to ask you about your Flipping the Hood event.
So Flipping the Hood was a vision that was gifted to me back in 2021, literally during COVID, at the house on a Saturday afternoon, and I just heard from the ground up Flipping the Hood. I knew that I know so many people in so many spaces, and I wanted to create a space, a platform for other people to stand on. So regardless of your experience level, you have something to share, right? Even you do, right? We just met she's not an intern, she's a PA outside. She's been in New York for 4 months, right? She came up to me and said, hey, how did you get started? She's in New York on a scholarship at NYU, played basketball, full ride. She wants to be in media. Those are the opportunities that we have to give people outside of this building. What about those kids that are hanging out on the corner? What about those folks who have no pathway? So Flipping the Hood isn't just about real estate, right? The first real estate we own is in our mind. So it's about how do we knowledge transfer in real time? How do we create space? We have 2 days of incredible programming, everything from, you know, the screening of an incredible film called Dear America, A Letter from Black Women, which starts day one off, which really looks at where we are as a country and democracy and the role Black women have played in that. Everything from supply chain to AI to crypto to interior designers to people who are developers to a plethora of pathways that people don't know about. And so this is really a throwback for me of the work I've been doing since the 80s. Like, how do you create space, invite people into it so they can see themselves, so they can make connections. The first time we did it 2 years ago, we had $55 million of business activity happening with 1,000 people over 2 days. People flew in from all over the country. And this year, if you go, you know, I'm sure you'll put the website up, but people can look at the programming. And we go from wellness in the morning to harvest in the afternoon, right? We go from the mental, planting the seeds, to the harvest. Go ahead.
If I send folks to yobadevelopment.com, there's information.
Yep. You can obviously follow us on Instagram, Yoba Development, Yoba Development Foundation. You can follow me on our LinkedIn. But yeah, and yeah, the information's out there.
It's such a pleasure to meet you.
It's lovely to meet you as well.
And it's always nice to see you.
Always good to see you. Thank you.
Dena, Yoba, pretty soon you're going to be his boss.
She's my boss now.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. We'll be right back. Our next guest is a survivor. In the 1990s, at age 13, she and her family fled war-torn Liberia and eventually resettled in Newark, New Jersey. Today, she is the owner of 7 restaurants, including 4 IHOP franchises. She's also the first Black woman to win a New Jersey tax credit to build affordable housing. And her latest housing project will do so much more than just put a roof over the heads of the families who need it. Joining us today, developer and philanthropist Adenah Bayoh. It is such a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you for having me. It's
Your
an honor to be
story
here.
is it's just exceptional.
Thank you.
And it's very inspiring.
Thank you.
So talk to me a little bit about, if you will, that sojourn with your family to get here to the United States. You left Liberia to get away from a civil war. How do you think that experience, going through that, shaped who you are today?
I'm of the mindset that everything in my life is working in concert for my good. I think coming and going through the Civil War allowed me to experience things that really have shaped the person that I am today. I don't think if I hadn't experienced war, been a refugee, and lived in affordable housing, public housing in Newark, I would be a Dena today. So I fundamentally believe that. So when I landed in Newark, after experiencing civil war in Africa, I was literally saying to myself, oh, this is heaven on earth. This is heaven. When I went to school, I felt so grateful to be given another opportunity. And that's just been my mindset. This is an opportunity for me to not just take what little opportunity God has given me, but just be grateful for it. So I think it's all shaped who I am today.
Yeah, and you want, based on what I know about your record, professionally especially, it seems like you want to be able to give other people, other young people like you were, that feeling.
Absolutely, because there's a saying that I also live by that says, in this country, 50% of your life outcomes is going to determine, 50% of your life outcome is determined by the zip code you were born in. And the other 50% is determined by the generosity of the people that you encounter on your journey. So I can't help where people are born in what zip code, but I want to be able to be that generous person, just like I've had in my life. I've had teachers that have been generous with their time. When I came to this country, I couldn't read. And I was put in the 7th grade. And my 7th grade teacher tutored me to the 8th grade. And when I went to high school, my high school teacher, Ms. Jackson, tutored me all the way through high school. So for me, it's the generosity of those women is how I get to sit here today and pay it forward.
That's exactly what you're doing. Now, I said in the introduction, you're the first Black woman to get a New Jersey tax credit to build affordable housing. Why is that such a big deal? Not necessarily that you're first Black woman, but getting that tax credit allows you in these developments to do exactly what you're talking about doing, paying it forward.
That is important for me because prior to that award, I had been partner in about 9% tax credit. So this was an opportunity for me to do it the way I always wanted to do development. I've always felt like housing is a right. I've always felt like people should thrive in these housing complex. And I refer to my project as communities. I want a 10-year-old boy that is in one of my buildings to be able to have access to tutoring, after-school programs, access to a laptop. And one of the fundamental things that we did with this project, and I'm so grateful to some of the partners, my banking partners, Citizen Bank, Enterprise Community, every apartment in that development is going to have free Wi-Fi for 15 years that you don't have to pay for. You come in, you power up, and you're
ready to go.
Ready to go.
And this, we're talking about the South 11th Street project in Newark that's right now in development. I think you said to me before that you expect to be moving families in by August. You started a year ago. It's just, you are going to give laptops to every young resident. And tutoring services. Why was that important to you to do?
Because when I grew up in Newark, I had access to after-school services. I went to a center called Quest Youth Center. It's closed down now, but it shaped me. It shaped who I am today, how I look at myself as a human being. And I've always felt like our kids need somewhere to go to after school where people are pouring into them, where people are telling them they are somebody. And I know I don't have the means to put every kid in an after school, but I've always said to myself, one of the things that have kept me from not doing my own project because I didn't have access to capital. I said, when I am given this opportunity, money should not keep people from achieving their goals. If I have access to this, I want to do something impactful that's going to set a kid up, a mother that's still at work till 5 o'clock to know after school, my child is in the building being tutored and they're safe. Always wanted to do that.
You focused, with this affordable housing, you focuses on disadvantaged communities.
Yeah.
You feel that that's your niche, where you can actually make a difference, I guess move the needle?
Yeah, absolutely. I am a product of them. I still have family that live in Newark. I still have a strong attachment to those communities. So when I develop, I'm not developing from an outside perspective. I'm developing from real information because I am from those communities. I do know what is missing. I do know what is needed. And sometimes, I've always said this, when you're not at the table, you're on the menu.
Yeah.
So given this opportunity to be at the table allows me to shape certain outcomes. And I'm grateful for that.
Yeah. I know that you have said that your grandmother was a big influence on you. I think, did she have a restaurant in Liberia?
Yeah, she had a restaurant, she had real estate, and she had a farm. And I worked all three of those things. Yeah. And I think it's Malcolm Gladwell that says, in the outlier, in anything you do, you need about 10,000 hours to be a pro expert. I've been on this entrepreneur journey since I was 5 or 6 years old. So I think I have maxed out my 10,000 hours, but my grandmother was this force. She didn't read, she didn't write, but she had farms. She had a bread factory. Yeah. She had a restaurant. And she would go in the marketplace and she would gather women around. And they would talk about how they need to shape their futures. And I would be right in the midst of that. So I
soaked it all up.
Soaked it all up, was a sponge. And to her honor, I am sitting here today with you.
Yeah. I know she's proud of you. Is your grandmother
still? She passed a couple of years ago.
Yeah. But she poured all into you. Yeah. Now talk to about the restaurants you have. 4 IHOP franchises, 3 other restaurants.
Yes.
And one of the things you do, I think, is it in the Irvington store?
Yes.
We
do a whole slew of things.
You got a breakfast program. Talk to me about that. You've got your hands in the community that needs you all over the place.
So I've always referred to my restaurants as the community gathering space. We do community dinners. We do this amazing thing called Breakfast for Dinner. We shut down a restaurant and we just feed the community. During the pandemic, when kids had no school, we did breakfast program. Any kid off any street, any zip code, you just come and we give you pancake. We did those not because I felt like, oh, let's give people a handout, but we are a community steward. We are people that benefit from those communities, and it's our duty to just be as impactful to those communities and give back just as much. And I've always felt that way. I've always felt like to whom much is given, so much more is expected. And not just, for me, I think on this journey, it's the people around me that I sit back in awe. I get to sit here today, but there's a core of women that have said to me, we are thankful for you. And I said to them, I'm here because of you all. And that's the women that work in my businesses. And I sit here and I'm just thankful for them.
Yeah. My understanding is that you are either the largest or the second largest employer in Irvington, New Jersey?
I think at one point I was, but I think other bigger companies have definitely moved in. But yeah, at one point we were.
Yeah, that has to make you proud, though.
Absolutely. Because when I was 13, 14 years old, I worked at the McDonald's down the street on Springfield Avenue. And up the street is the IHOP I own right now. Yeah. And that McDonald's was owned by a Black couple that also poured into me. So it's an honor to be in that community that I grew up in, now employing people and building homes that are gonna serve families.
Yeah, and really building young lives, helping to build young lives.
Absolutely.
What advice would you give to someone, an aspiring young entrepreneur, especially I guess a young woman that's listening to your story and seeing the things that you are doing in a community that you love, if they're thinking, could I do that? How do I get started? What advice would you give them?
One of the advice I would give is start. Be courageous and understand that this journey you're on is very hard. It's a very hard journey. But along the way, you're gonna find people that are gonna help you. You're gonna find people that are gonna pour into you. You're gonna find people that says to you, I believe in you, even at times when you don't even believe in yourself. So my advice to anyone for that matter is start. Start today, start tomorrow, but start. The journey of 1,000 miles start with one footstep. And there are wonderful people that you're gonna meet on your journey, and that you know this journey is hard, but very rewarding.
It has been so rewarding just talking to you, hearing your story, hearing your plans, not only for your future, but for the future for these families that you are helping. I'm going to send folks to your website, AdenahBayoh.com.
Yes.
They can find out about some of those restaurants.
Yes, absolutely.
As well as the projects that you've worked on, and this big one right now in Newark, South 11th Street.
Yes,
right?
And I'm going to invite you to that ribbon cutting, Sandra. You have to come. It's going to be amazing. And thank you
August,
for having
right?
me. Yes, in August.
All right.
Thank
you. We
me.
cannot wait to see what you do next.
Oh, thank you. It's an honor.
We'll be right back. Homelessness in the New York City metropolitan area has reached the highest levels since the Great Depression in the 1930s. In fact, the Coalition for the Homeless estimates that more than 350,000 people in the city are without a place to call home. For nearly 40 years, the Doe Fund and its flagship Ready, Willing, and Able programs has connected nearly 15,000 people to jobs, permanent housing, or both. Here to tell us more this afternoon, Jennifer Mitchell, President and CEO of the Doe Fund, along with Arisha Jordan, the Vice President of Housing Placement. Thank you both for being with us this afternoon. The Doe Fund is one of those organizations I think that New Yorkers, we instantly recognize, as you said, ready, willing, and able. Yeah. But we also instantly know that you're changing lives for the better. So, you know, this question of housing people that don't have housing, of finding affordable housing, it is a bigger issue than ever.
Yes.
So how are you guys dealing with that? I mean, you've been doing this work for what, almost 40, not you, but the organization, almost 40 years, right?
Well, the organization is nearly 40 years old. Arisha has been with the organization for nearly 30 years at this point.
Since you were 5.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
And this is my second stint back with the organization. So I was here for 12 years, left for 12 years, now I've been back for 2 years. So we have been doing this work and in it for a long time. We have what, as you referred to, the Ready, Willing, and Able program, which is the iconic men in blue that live in our transitional housing residences and then participate in our workforce development program, which is a paid work training program where they provide supplemental sanitation services to 115 miles of city streets every single week. And then back at our facilities, they get computer essentials and career prep and housing support led by Arisha and many other wraparound services. And so that's one half of what we do is folks go through that Ready, Willing, and Able program, and we help them to find permanent employment and permanent housing at the end of it. The other half of the Doe Fund is our portfolio of supportive and affordable housing. And so we, over the past decade plus, have built more than 1,000 units of affordable and supportive housing and have many more in stages of development. So we feel like we're kind of working it on both fronts. People that are able to get work, we work within our training program and help them to get that stability and that independence. And then for folks who maybe are challenged either physically or mentally and really need a safe place to call home first, we're developing that. So both things.
And you know, Risha, there's a lot of conversations these days about housing, affordable housing, you know, how to provide housing for people. But you guys seem to be being able to do it, to actually work on it. Why are you having success at helping your clients do this where people seem to be stuck in other areas?
Well, it's, as you mentioned, the housing market is definitely a challenge, and it is getting worse, unfortunately, with rents starting at about $3,600 a month for even a studio.
Yeah.
Who can afford that? Unfortunately, we have a phenomenal team of staff, both housing, social services as well. It's just a good community of people that really care, but they pound the pavements. It's a lot of work, but they pound the pavements, they speak to people. One of the things that we do a lot is just making sure that people understand where these clients are coming from and knowing that they're trying to get a second chance in life. They've made some mistakes. We all understand that. We're human. We all make mistakes. But I think the reality of where our clientele is coming from, knowing that they have these wraparound services, they have been able to work on some of the things that have been a challenge for them. So I think it makes it a little bit more comfortable for landlords to work with our guys. Also, our staff, they go on viewings with them. They prep them. They make sure they have proper dress attire, interviewing skills to make sure, because first impression is sometimes the only impression that they have. So they work very hard and very diligently with them. They also work very hard with the city programs, making sure that we make those connections. And that has been a great collaboration on both sides, because the only way to make this work is if we all work together to make a change.
Yeah, and one of the things I would just add is Arisha and her team have been doing this for a really long time, and they really understand kind of the nuances of the different housing vouchers and all of that. And so, and they stay on top of it, and they're always following like any changes there. So they really give, you know, the tools and the secrets of success to the folks that we're working with.
No, and we try to do some workshops with the clientele, because one of the biggest challenges I feel is it's not just about moving out, it's about staying out. So sometimes, you know, what we want to do is make sure that they have the resources that they need on where to go to if they're having a problem with their heat, their water, whatever the case might be. And that is the one beautiful thing about the Doe Fund as well, is having that service for graduates, specifically graduate services, but it's that additional service. So if they do bump into the road for any reason, whether they have a problem with housing, whether they want to upgrade their housing, if they don't know what to do to renew their voucher, they can always come back and speak to either a housing specialist, a graduate services advisor, case manager, whomever, because everybody's willing to help everyone with our organization.
And even helping them navigate a tricky situation with a landlord or anything. We have coaches and guides and wonderful people who work on Arisha's team.
So I mentioned some of the numbers coming into the interview, and it just seems like the need is really huge these days. Have you noticed an increase? Are there more people in need of the services that you offer?
So yes, I mean,
Absolutely.
we are seeing a lot of people in need, but also what it is that the length of time it takes for someone to get from the shelter system into housing takes longer, right? There's just the supply side in New York City of affordable housing. The math does not add up, right? So we used to be able to place folks that finished our Ready, Willing, and Able program and secured employment into a job, into housing at around 6 weeks. It now can take, you know, an average of 6 months to have someone who is living in in one of our transitional residences, working, earning money to find and secure and move into housing.
Yes.
That's, oh my goodness. And who are your clients and how did they come to you?
Yeah, so the ready, willing, and able side of things are, all of them are men. So they're single men that have been admitted to the Department of Homeless Service system, and then they're referred to us because they are ready, willing, and able, and committed to taking the training and the skills and the wraparound service to build a better life for themselves, to contribute to their well-being, their family's well-being, their community. And so that's one side, is folks that come through the Department of Homeless Service system. Then with our affordable and supportive housing, about half of our housing stock, about 700 units, are just affordable units that people can access through the New York City Connect lottery program. And the other half are folks that are referred to us from city and state agencies because they qualify because of various reasons.
Okay, and how are you able to do what you do? How is the Doe Fund funded?
So the Doe Fund is funded in a multitude of different ways, and you know, in this environment, you want to make sure you have diverse funding sources. So the city is one of our strongest partners. The state is also a strong partner, and then really our ability to be responsive to the needs of the people we serve and to continue to innovate and build new programs is based on the generosity of individual New Yorkers, corporations, and foundations throughout New York City. It's, I mean, we've been, as you stated in the beginning, we've been in existence and have a nearly 4-decade track record of doing the work we do. We could not do it without all of our friends and neighbors and communities that care so deeply about the people that we serve and give generously.
Well, I want to send folks to DOE.org. That's DOE for Doe Fund, not Department of Education.
Yes, exactly.
Yes, that's important.
DOE.org. It's such a pleasure to meet both of you because you are doing such important work, and it's even more important today.
Thank you.
And just your enthusiasm about the work and devotion to it, I think that makes a huge difference. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.
We appreciate it. It's a pleasure.
We'll be right back. Our next guest is no stranger to the spotlight, with roles on a long list of hit TV shows: FBI, Blue Bloods, The Blacklist. But it's in season 4 of the hit Starz series Power Book 3, Raising Kanan, that she really shines in her role as Stephanie Pop Henry, matriarch of a powerful crime organization. Take a look.
Look, if we're gonna do this shit, we need to move quick.
He said we get back to you, nigga. Now head home to your coffin or your crypt or wherever an undead motherfucker like you rests their head, okay? Let the adults talk.
In some ways, this is a dream job because Pop plays opposite her real-life partner, award-winning actor Wendell Pierce. His character, Ishmael Snaps Henry, is a living legend on the street. It is our pleasure to welcome actress Erica Woods. I am scared of you.
Thank you for that introduction.
You are no joke.
Thank you.
I hope you're nicer than that character.
Way nicer. Thank you. And it's the most fun I've ever had because no one sees me like that.
I always hear actors and actresses say playing the bad guy is always more fun.
It's the most fun.
Why is that?
You know, actually because she has so many layers and I keep unpeeling them and it's like just a wonderful surprise. Like, who knew she has a heart of gold? You know, she's a mother. You know, she doesn't have kids, but she mothers the kids around her in her own way.
In her own way.
She's a loving wife. Like, she loves her husband. He's her world and her family. She's made kind of her crime enterprise her family. And her loyalty to them, I just think is very commendable.
So when you take on a role like that, do you build out the character, or do they just give you the outlines ahead of time and then you build out the character and the backstory?
We were fortunate enough to build out the character. Our executive producers are so wonderful, Sasha Penn. They actually gave us the freedom, like, you know, what do you feel this character would be? I was like, well, first of all, she has no parents.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like, there's certain things that I wanted her to do. I wanted her to be very meticulous with her looks. They gave us that freedom, and I didn't want her to have any kids.
Now, is it challenging when you walk? I mean, look, Power, they got some serious fans.
Oh, yeah.
Okay?
Oh.
So how challenging is it to walk onto a set where that's all established and people, they're already invested?
You know, for me, it was actually wonderful. The fans were so receptive of my character, which it freaked me out. I have a whole following of like cougar women. You know, they call it like pops people. And they were just, first of all, they were so happy to see a couple that was married. And, you know, Black love and strong Black women. And so the fans have been very receptive. And I see them in my neighborhood and they're like, what part of New York are you from? And that's the biggest compliment for me because I'm not from New York. So they've been really, really wonderful and welcomed us in really early on.
And I said it was a bonus in the lead-in that you're actually working with your real-life partner. Is it a bonus, or do you sometimes want to kill him at work? And
No,
then you gotta go?
actually, the only time I get mad is when he makes me laugh at the most inappropriate moment. I'm like, you can't make me laugh right now. We're about to, you know, get into it with somebody. But no, it's actually wonderful, and I learn a lot. He has my back, and we work hard. You know, we work on stuff together. Our backstory and our chemistry is good, so it's a blessing.
And those long days in the office?
Oh, yeah, it's great. We both love food, so we'll go on food breaks, and it's wonderful.
Yeah, and he's from New Orleans, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's some good
He
eating.
can cook, too. Oh, yeah.
So was acting always what you wanted to do? I know we have this in common. You were born in Texas.
Yes, ma'am.
So I've decided we're probably cousins somewhere.
And I pray we are. I pray we are.
Probably cousins. So you're born in Texas, but you grew up in
Kansas City, yes.
And your family is still there?
Yes, my dad is. And I caregive for my dad. He's in Overland Park, Kansas. And and my brothers are there. And I have a house there, so I go back and forth.
Was acting always what you wanted to do?
Actually, I wanted to do what you're doing, broadcast journalism. I went to Howard, dived right into the School of C, but quickly found out that wasn't for me. And went full steam into acting and modeling and really found my tribe and just went full steam ahead. Classes, lessons, love it.
But I'm listening to you and you make it sound easy and quick, but I know you had to do some work.
Yes,
to get
actually I've been doing theater since I was a kid. And it takes a lot. You have to first make sure it's your passion. So I started doing commercials, going out for plays, doing plays, and then you have to study constantly and just immerse yourself in it. And I did, and I found my community and I was like, this is what I want to do. And it's just been a wonderful journey.
You would change not a thing?
Not one thing. Maybe no sugar. I would have started no sugar early on in life, but
you mean literally sugar?
No sugar. Just health is wealth. I'm learning. You could just go, but learning after losing my mother and caregiving for my father. Only thing I would change is some of my eating habits. Other than that, not a thing.
Well, that's pretty. I mean, I think we would all do that. I'd probably have a little less thigh if I did that, right?
No.
Just a little smoke and mirror. So this is a great role that you're in, but I know that you have ambitions to do other. Is there some dream job that you?
Oh, I have two. White Lotus.
Don't blame you.
I think me and my partner would be a great addition to White Lotus.
I think you and your partner would be a great addition to anywhere. You're putting that out in the universe?
He's my dream. Mike White, I just think he's wonderful.
Yeah.
And I like Ryan Coogler. I've seen Sinners. I'm all in. So I love horror. I love drama. I would like to do a little something different. Maybe play a good girl. Or,
to challenge yourself.
Yeah, I would like that.
So you think playing a good girl, that's going to be different.
But
you're a good girl in real life, right?
Thank you.
So what can we expect, before I let you go, can we expect to see Pops and Snaps from Pops and Snaps? I love saying that, Pop and Snap.
One thing I think we're getting more layers peeled back, which is wonderful. Like you're going to meet more of my character. Without giving too much away, Pop really steps up, and you really get to see more of her. And I think that that's wonderful. Those layers are being peeled back and kind of going to war.
Because it sounds to me what you have really attempted to do is to make her more than just a stereotypical,
yes,
you know, I don't know, drug boss or what.
Yeah. She's, you know, she's a strong boss. She's a partner. She's loyal. And Patina Miller is just an incredible actress.
Yeah.
So you're going to actually see our characters interact more. And I think it's wonderful that they put all of these strong female characters because it's a male-dominated show.
That is one of the things about your series that really, I do think that is one of the things the fans love.
Yeah, I love it. You're going to really see more of the ladies. And I think that that's pretty fun.
Yeah, and I would think as an actor, the challenge too, not really challenge, but it's really great to be working with other strong actors because you got to be on top of your game.
Oh, and especially giving and people that you like. Patina is so warm and so giving and so professional. And she really, like, some of her best scenes are, she doesn't even say a word. We had one scene where we meet her, and it was my favorite. It was just all of this listening. And for her to come and just say that was amazing work, it just really validated me, and it really rose my level of work up too. And you're gonna see more of that. And of course, Tony Danza, he's bringing the heat.
Yeah.
And it's just a really good season for the ladies. That I'll say. We have a couple shows left, and it's gonna be great. It's a great season.
I can't wait to see what else you do in your career because I got a feeling we're going to be seeing a lot more of you.
Thank you so much. You're so lovely.
Miss
Thank you
Erica
for having
Woods.
me.
I'm not really that lucky.
Please don't watch. I don't know if you watch Raising Kanan, but it's a lot of cussing. But.
No. Well, obviously, we haven't been friends very long. Stars.com.
Thank you.
If you haven't been watching the series, you've got to tune in, and you will not be disappointed. Thank you so much for sitting down with us today. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you. Nice to meet you, too.
We'll be right back.
Inkosi umhlola lo.
For more than 3 decades, the New York African Film Festival has brought a multi-dimensional take on African cinema and culture to audiences. More than 100 films will be shown this year, and the theme of the festival, Fluid Horizons, a shifting lens on a hopeful world. It's a nod to the resilience of African youth and to those who paved the way for the current generation. Here to tell us more is the founder and executive director of the New York African Film Festival, Mahin Benetti. It is so nice to see you again.
It's lovely to be here with you again. I mean, I was just here yesterday with you.
That's what it feels like,
yes,
right?
Yes, it does.
More than 32 years, actually, like 35 years you've been working on this.
The founding of the organization was 35 years ago. And the New York African Film Festival is 32 years, because in between that 3-year period, we were acclimating our communities to what we wanted to do. We wanted to, as I said to you, I used the analogy of knocking on the door, the gate of the chief's compound, explaining to the chief what we wanted to do. The chief, he or she, calls the subjects and tells them they need to support this initiative, which is for the community.
And they certainly have. 100 films is nothing to sneeze at. And I'm assuming over the years it's gotten easier to get some really great filmmakers into the festival.
Oh, absolutely. And you also, this is where I thank technology, which has given an independence to filmmakers or budding filmmakers, where you can get a camera, you can edit, you can shoot your film, edit it, and create, you know, a sort of cinema club in your neighborhood, your community.
Yeah, it's really made it more accessible.
Absolutely,
to everyone.
The accessibility of it, and so, you know, and Nollywood being the kernel of our homegrown cinema, you have these offshoots, Sollywood, Underwood, you know, all throughout the continent.
Yeah.
So yes,
which is a good thing for
so
you.
that's why we can have 100 films.
Exactly. So talk to me a little bit about that theme, Fluid Horizons, a shifting lens on a hopeful world.
Yes. it's using cinema to show how a generation, you know, fought for the historic struggle for independence, and also the triumphance of liberation, And you have this generation also fighting for either independence or self-affirmation, and on their own terms, culturally, traditionally, and also their own perspectives. So it's like passing the baton on. Each generation has passed the baton on to the next one. And I am waiting to do that myself with this organization.
Not quite yet, though. So let's talk about some of the films that are going to be featured this year. When I Say Africa is one of them that I found interesting. Focusing on some of the stereotypes folks have when it comes to the continent.
Yes, and it's fantastic because it's tongue-in-cheek. And one of the narrators, speaking of pronouncing names, is Binyavanga Wanyanane, who is late now, but he was an amazing writer. And he's the perfect narrator for this. There's several narrators, but he really just, it's breezy, you know, the way he...
And it takes aim at some of the stereotypes, silly as they are, and you would think in this day and age that they wouldn't linger, but they do.
But they do. But also we also have absorbed some of those stereotypes.
So
he's taking a swing at everyone.
Okay.
You know, but that is one of, and then of course, you know, we opened with Town Hall, where basically that's about storytelling, the art of storytelling. So we had a writer, we had a choreographer, we had a photographer, and we had a filmmaker. So no matter
all
what
aspects
of the discipline, you're telling a story. And how does that relate to the theme and, you know, your process, your journey. You know, we're looking also at all of the hot spots that are flooding the television screens right now. Democratic Republic of Congo, Mozambique, Sudan, Haiti, you know, and we are taking, we're taking that narrative ourselves and showing a counterpoint to the narrative.
To what you might traditionally get.
Yes.
And it's coming from African voices.
Absolutely, on our own terms, in our own voice. And it is also showing that there is resistance, there is resilience, and that we are not just cap in hand.
Yeah.
You know?
And one of the great things about your festival, it's one festival, but it's almost like a two-parter. You're working with the Lincoln Center, but also there's a point at which you partner with Dance Africa and BAM.
Yes, and in between, we go to our backyard, Maisels in Harlem.
Yeah.
And, you know, there we had, you sort of bring the community together once more, that knocking on the gate of the chief.
Yeah.
And then we let our hair down during Dance Africa at BAM with the open air markets, you know, bazaar, the music, the dance, the fashion.
Yeah, there's a little bit of
my
something
goodness.
for
And the
everyone
food, yes,
to
it's
go along with the
fantastic. And then
cinema.
we come in, and this year we come in with films to support the main stage of the guest country, which is Mozambique this year, of the theater and dance performances that take place on the main stage. And then we present films that, you know, complements that, and also contemporary and classic works.
One of the films I wanted to touch on with you was the, is it Mueda, Memory and Massacre?
Yeah, Mueda, Memory and Massacre, which is one of the first, it's an amazing film because it's the first feature film that came out of Mozambique by a Mozambican. And it talks about, it's a reenactment of
a massacre.
Absolutely, where 600 people were killed who were asking for liberation. And so it's staged in a sort of circular, it's black and white, and you have multiple people, you know, it's multidimensional. It's beautiful, and that is worth seeing. Absolutely,
it's wonderful.
And it's been restored. It's digitized as well.
And
so that's
after
great.
the long rains, a story about that young girl Aisha who's trying to decide what she wants to do with her life.
Yes, it's so tender. You know, this filmmaker who is he's Swiss and Kenyan, I believe. Yes, he is, Damien. He has really captured, you know, a child's imagination through that transition into womanhood, you know?
And how difficult that can be.
Yes.
And she's really, lovely little girl, really giving it a thought, thinking about it, trying to make some decisions and talking with other people about
absolutely,
what their,
and the family,
what their plans are.
yes, absolutely, and the community.
And you close, which is just a wonderful, with a screening, and that is the end of May 31st, with an outdoor screening at St. Nicholas Park in Harlem. I guess it's a screening of short films, is my understanding.
Well, we have some shorts that look at environmental, I don't want to say degradation, but also issues, but also solutions. And this is also young people's voices that are talking about this subject matter and how they perceive what is happening within their environment and how they can find solutions. So it is also about finding solutions. You know, it's not only, you know, struggle, struggle, struggle. We also are finding solutions, and that's where it's triumphant, you know. And then the film Shadrach, it's a beautiful film also because it's about the aging process and the loss of memory, and how a housekeeper has been brought in by the son of this old man. And in the end, that's bond they forge, you know, where the man is giving one of, because she's ill. I don't want to give it away.
I know,
but
you're trying to tell me the whole story.
It's funny, it's poignant.
Everything.
Oh, it's everything. And it's perfect for
And that's one of there's a little bit of something for everyone in this festival. And there's enough time and enough venues for you to be able to find that thing that really captures your interest. You can get the full festival lineup at AfricanFilmNY.org,
That's right.
And we can, on that website, you can find out where the films are being shown.
Yes.
Times.
And
costs.
Directions, costs, and then there are also free programs, huh?
And free programs.
We have at BAM. We also, because there are two films that are adapted from novels. The opening night film, So Long a Letter, is by Mariam Abba, and that has been a popular novel of women of my generation, and before my generation, after my generation. So I think that's going to be flooded.
Okay, now we can't tell every film on this, because I'd be sitting with you here until next Sunday.
Yes, right? You will, but I hope you come out.
Yes, I've had a chance, many occasions, to see some of the films, and I'm always amazed at just how much talent there is out there. As you pointed out earlier, technology has made filmmaking more accessible.
I'm in awe. I'm so proud to show this work, and it's in our own voice. And really, you know, I guess that's why I'm still here.
Look, you've made this your life's work successfully. Thank you for always coming on and being willing to talk with us.
Thank you so much. And we look forward to seeing you at the movies.
You will.
All right.
You will.
Thank you.
We'll be right back. Thank you for joining us on Here and Now. If you missed any portion of today's show, you can watch at abc7ny.com/Here and Now, or listen to our podcast wherever you subscribe. If you'd like to comment or share your story, email us at hereandnow@wabc.com, or follow us on Facebook and Instagram. I'm Sandra Bookman. Enjoy the rest of your day.